Then the Lord said to Moses, "Return to Pharaoh and make your demands again. I have made him and his officials stubborn so I can display my miraculous signs among them." So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said, "This is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says. How long will you refuse to submit to me? Let my people go so they can worship me. If you refuse, watch out, for tomorrow I will bring a swarm of locusts on your country. They will cover the land so that you won't be able to see the ground." Pharaoh's officials now came to Pharaoh and appealed to him. "How long will you let this man hold us hostage? Let the men go to worship the Lord their God. Don't you realize that Egypt lies in ruins?" So Moses and Aaron were brought back to Pharaoh. "All right," he told them, "go and worship the Lord your God. But who exactly will be going with you?" Moses replied, "We will all go, young and old, our sons and daughters, and our flocks and herds. We must all join together in celebrating a festival to the Lord." Pharaoh retorted, "The Lord will certainly need to be with you if I let you take your little ones. I can see through your evil plan. Never. Only the men may go and worship the Lord, since that is what you requested." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Raise your hand over the land of Egypt to bring on the locusts. Let them cover the land and devour every plant that survived the hailstorm." So Moses raised his staff over Egypt, and the Lord caused an east wind to blow over the land all that day and through the night. When morning arrived, the east wind had brought the locusts. Pharaoh quickly summoned Moses and Aaron. "I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you," he confessed. "Forgive my sin, just this once, and plead with the Lord your God to take away this death from me." So Moses left Pharaoh's court and pleaded with the Lord. The Lord responded by shifting the wind, and the strong west wind blew the locusts into the Red Sea. Not a single locust remained in all the land of Egypt. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Lift your hand toward heaven, and the land of Egypt will be covered with a darkness so thick you can feel it." So Moses lifted his hand to the sky, and a deep darkness covered the entire land of Egypt for 3 days. During all that time, the people could not see each other, and no one moved. Finally, Pharaoh called for Moses. "Go and worship the Lord," he said, "but leave your flocks and herds here. You may even take your little ones with you." "No," Moses said, "you must provide us with animals for sacrifices and burnt offerings to the Lord our God. All our livestock must go with us too. Not a hoof can be left behind. We must choose our sacrifices for the Lord our God from among these animals. And we won't know how we are to worship the Lord until we get there." But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart once more, and he would not let them go. "Get out of here," Pharaoh shouted at Moses. "I'm warning you, never come back to see me again. The day you see my face, you will die." "Very well," Moses replied. "I will never see your face again."
Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into a story that's as old as time itself? I mean, we're talking ancient Egypt, plagues, the whole shebang. It's a pivotal moment in the book of Exodus, and trust me, this is one showdown you don't want to miss.
And it's so much more than just, a natural disaster story. These plagues, they were orchestrated, carefully designed to demonstrate God's power, to make a statement.
Right, it wasn't just about sending a few flies to bug him. Okay, so we've got Moses. He's going head-to-head with Pharaoh, demanding freedom for the Israelites. And Pharaoh's, well, let's just say he's not exactly on board with this whole freedom idea.
Yeah, you could say that. Pharaoh, he's digging in his heels. Exodus actually uses the phrase hardening his heart, and there's a whole lot of debate about what exactly that means.
So it's not exactly a fair fight, is it, if God's kind of pulling strings behind the scenes?
That's the heart of it, isn't it? It raises all these questions about free will versus, I guess you could say, destiny. Big themes that we're still grappling with today. Was Pharaoh truly in control of his choices, or was he always meant to play this part in a much bigger story?
A divine game of chess, with the fate of a nation at stake. And what better piece to put into play than, well, a plague of biblical proportions? We're talking locusts, and when I say plague, I mean plague. Exodus goes all out with the descriptions. Covering the land, couldn't see the ground.
Oh yeah, they don't hold back on the details.
Devoured everything. And I mean, we're not talking about a few grasshoppers here, are we?
Not even close. Imagine for a second you're an Egyptian farmer. Your whole life, everything, depends on what you can grow, what the Nile provides, and then, bam! Locusts descend. Millions of them. And not just a quick visit, they're here to stay and eat everything in sight.
Yeah, your crops, your livelihood, gone. Just like that.
Wiped out. It would have been devastating.
I mean, talk about a gut punch. This wasn't just annoying. It was a calculated attack on their livelihood, their entire way of life.
Absolutely. This was economic warfare on a scale they'd never seen before, aimed at the very heart of Egypt's power. Pharaoh had to be feeling the pressure.
So with Egypt basically on the ropes, you'd figure Pharaoh would, I don't know, come to his senses.
Well, he makes a move. Calls for Moses, actually begs him, can you believe that? Begs him to call off the plague. But surprise, surprise, there's a catch. There's always a catch with this guy.
Right, like what's the deal this time? What's he offering?
Okay, so he says he'll let the Israelite men go, to worship.
Well, how generous.
Right. But that's it. The women, the kids, all their livestock, they all gotta stay put.
It's like he's trying to bargain with God. Or maybe he thinks the desert will just, take care of the problem for him.
Could be. Maybe he figures they'll be crawling back as soon as they get hungry enough.
So, half a loaf, not even.
Yeah.
What does Moses do? Does he take it? Figure, hey, it's a start.
Nope. Moses stands firm. He's like, nope, we're taking everyone, young and old, sons and daughters, flocks and herds, the whole kit and caboodle.
Wow, okay. And I can't help but notice, he's really hung up on the livestock, isn't he? What's the big deal about the sheep?
It's not really about the sheep, is it? It's about identity. Those flocks, those herds, they weren't just food. They were central to their religious practices, their sacrifices, all of it.
Right.
So when Moses insists on taking them, he's basically saying, we're not leaving any part of who we are behind. This is non-negotiable. It's a line in the sand.
Like, we're not just refugees. We're a people. Deal with it.
Exactly. And this refusal, this is where things really escalate, pushes Pharaoh to the edge.
Speaking of edges, let's talk about this plague of darkness. And we're not talking your run-of-the-mill nighttime here. This was a darkness so thick you could practically chew it. I would have been reaching for a nightlight, that's for sure.
Oh, this one is just terrifying. And you gotta remember what the Egyptians believed, right? The sun god Ra. This was a direct attack on their whole belief system. Talk about messing with your mind.
Yeah, I'd be freaking out. But here's something interesting. In the middle of all this creepy darkness, the Israelites, they had light in their home.
Exactly. God's protection. It's right there in the text. But even with this, divine blackout going on, Pharaoh, he's still not budging, calls for Moses again. But is it real this time? Or is he just desperate to get the lights back on?
Well, he does say he'll let the kids go this time, so maybe there's a little hope.
Yeah, maybe. But the livestock, still a no-go. And that's where things get really interesting.
Okay, deep divers, we are on the edge of our seats here. Pharaoh, talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? All this pressure, and yet, expert, what happens next?
So Pharaoh, he makes another offer, but honestly, it's like he hasn't been paying attention at all this whole time. He'll let the Israelites go, kids too, but the livestock, no way.
He just can't let it go, can he? It really makes you think, even with all that power, that stubborn streak, it's a very human thing, isn't it? But back to Moses. Any negotiating this time, or is this it?
Nope. Moses holds his ground. He basically tells Pharaoh, look, we need our flocks, we need our herds, we have sacrifices to make.
Wow. Talk about standing your ground.
Yeah.
It's getting serious now. This isn't just about leaving Egypt anymore.
No, you're right. It's about something bigger now. This is about their faith, their way of life, and they're making it clear they're not compromising on that.
Such a powerful statement. What's Pharaoh's reaction? I can't imagine he just says, all right, take your sheep, I'm over it.
Oh, not at all. Pharaoh, he loses it, tells Moses to get out and to never, ever come back. And he ends it all with a pretty chilling warning. Next time you see my face, he says, you're a dead man.
Talk about your dramatic exits, right? You can feel the tension. Pharaoh, he's all about control. And then you've got the Israelites. Their faith is absolute. Really makes you wonder, what does it take to make someone give up that kind of control?
It's a question for the ages, isn't it? And that's what makes this story from Exodus so powerful. It's not just some ancient history lesson. It's about us, about the choices we make, what we're willing to hold on to, even when it's hard, even when it seems like everything's on the line.
It's true. How often are we in our own ways, standing in Pharaoh's shoes, clinging to what we think we can control. So deep divers, here's something to think about. When would you have let go? What would it take for you to compromise? Just something to ponder as you go about your day. Until next time, keep diving.